Okay, so we're now starting the final section, which is the tail. Okay, and that's going to be done in cloth and twist. So that's cross, twist, cross, twist. Okay, I just want to mention something. So one of my pairs, one of my bobbins, actually was running out. So what I did is I actually added more thread. So I did mention in a previous video that one of the YouTubers shares a video that shows all the ways you can add thread into a pattern when you run out. And I did that here. So the usual way of doing it is you prepare another bobbin with the thread you need. Okay, then you will tie that bobbin above where you need it. So over here, I tied it on that pin. Okay, and then the easiest way, you've got to look at your design where you're running out of your thread and where you need to add it. So the key thing is don't wait too long because you've got to work both threads together for a while. So what you actually do is you take the one that's running out and the one that's that you're adding, and you actually twist them together. So when I joined it there, I first then twisted the pair out, and you just twist them around like this until it's really, really snug and tight. Okay, so and then you treat those as one. Okay, so what I did is I did there, you'll see these 4 lines are double the thickness of the others, and that's where I did it. So I worked the pair in and I kept going. So in principle I could have actually just done 2, but I just kept going until the thread ran out. The key thing is you want to join and end somewhere very logically, because you want to make it as subtle as possible. So this way that I've done, I'll trim these lengths off very carefully, very snugly against the where the pins are, and it'll be very seamless. So the only way you tell is because those lines just happen to be a smidgen thicker. Okay, so that's how you can add thread wherever you need it. Because ideally, especially in some designs where you don't have the information, you might not have an idea of how much thread to use. So you make a guess, and then if you run out, then you run out. As you can see, all these red ones were all the same size, but you can see some of them have, sorry, mind the cat. Come on, off. Yes, yes. Okay. She wants a lap. Sleep on my lap. Okay, so some of these, sorry, she just moved these around. So you can see some of them have used a lot more thread, some of them haven't. So certain patterns, if you do know, then great, but otherwise most of us will just wind how much we think and we go from there. If it runs out, then you add as you go along. Okay, great. So let's get back to this one. So this the tail bit we're going to be doing cloth and twist, and as you can see, I actually did this pricking and I took a guess at the sizing. So I made it bigger and I took a guess how much bigger I was going to make it. So this is going to be a real test to see, because this one that I'd previously done, remember I mentioned, I think I mentioned, so I started this fish and then I did a real big mess up and then I started it again. Even in my second time, there was a few little mistakes I did. But the key thing is the thread that I had on hand actually was a little too big. And I can tell that by here. It just looks untidy. It looks too messy. It should be a lot more seamless of a join. Okay, great. But let's get going, shall we? Okay, so I'm now going to do the cloth and twist. Okay, so there's my worker. Okay, all the pairs already have a twist on them, which is fine, because remember up here we actually did a twist to differentiate between the 2 sections. So we're still going to have a twist here, and that's perfect. Okay, so let's get going. So it's cross, twist, 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 cross, twist. Okay, now the only challenge, as you can see, is that you know, it kind of builds up as you go along. So what I do is, usually all the others we waited until the end to kind of tug. This one we're actually going to do it a little earlier, because you see I need to move it so I can carry on working it, because I'm going to need the space. Okay. Okay. And then when we come here, I'm still going to do a cloth stitch. I'm not going to do a cloth and twist yet. So I'll put my pin in there. Okay, now I'm going to, so I have to tug all these pairs just to get them kind of at least all aligned closely, so that I can finish that pin. Okay, cool. So I've tugged it all. Okay, whoops, actually I'm supposed to go between them. Okay, now it's all nicely spaced. Okay, add a twist on the outside, cross, twist, cross. Okay, great. And because they all have twists already, I'm going to just twist the outer edge, not my worker. And now I'm going to go back. So for now, I'm not going to worry about the messiness. I want to do another row and then I'll tug, because it's then going to go wider and hopefully I have more space to kind of work it. So as you've noticed, the bobbins actually make a difference on your spacing. If I had slimmer bobbins, I would be having less of an issue with shaping, because they could sit more in the middle. But I'm using slightly chunky continentals. So I'm turning the pillow. So that's another way of doing, of kind of working. So instead of you pushing all the bobbins out the way, you actually just turn the pillow. It's especially important because, as you can see here, you'll notice that these threads are loosening, so they're unwinding. So that happens because it's rolling around a lot. They're actually slowly unwinding themselves. You see these ones that didn't roll around quite as much, they're not unwinding themselves. So that's something to just note. If it gets very bad, then all you do is you just twist them. So now, of course, you've got to figure out which direction they twist. Oh, there we go. That's the right direction. No, wrong direction. So it's the other way. So all you do is you just twist them a bit. Okay. So it just helps them a little, because it will look, you will notice if you don't do this, you will see it will look untidy. Okay, so that should be fine for now. Okay, so I'm just going to tug just to pull them along the worker thread, so I've got space to work. Okay, great. Twist, cross, twist, cross, twist, cross, twist, cross, twist, cross, twist. Okay, now I'm just going to lengthen these. So as you can see, when it comes to lace making, so I'm just doing cross, twist, cross. When it comes to lace making, it's knowing the design, okay, understanding what the design elements are telling you to do, but also it's managing your bobbins. Okay, it's just and it's just learning to be comfortable when you're doing that. So I'm just dropping these down, you know, so it's just learning to be comfortable doing that. And you know what, a lot of it is trial and error. Okay, so okay, okay, so I'm just going to close the pin. Okay, there we go. Twist the outer one because it needs to have a twist, and I'm still not 100% happy about where these are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go tugging them again, just to try and make sure they are nicely aligned, because I don't like having them all on one side. Okay. But also now you'll see as I'm doing this, I'm also pulling. So I'm still not 100% happy because we've got too many on the side. There we go. That looks a little bit more logical. Okay. So it looks a little bit neater. Okay. So now that is the stitch. So you're doing cloth, twist, and you're going to work your way through. So I'm going to stop there. So you're going to carry on going all the way until the bottom there. And then I'm going to just do a snippet of a video and closing it off. Okay, so because this is going to continue. So the key thing is just work, just when you're working it, just obviously it's going to get easier as you go along here, but halfway through you might just need to tug things just to move them along to give you the space to carry on working through the other pairs. Okay, great. So I will do the next snippet and that'll be finishing it off.